My child, there are separations that do not come, like a storm shaking the roof of a house, but like the night mist quietly settling down, arriving so slowly that at first you still believe everything remains whole. There is no final declaration, no door slammed shut, no clear moment for you to know that you must let go. There are only messages that grow fewer, replies that become shorter, conversations that lose their warmth. And then one day, you sit in the emptiness with a heart that aches, as though it has just realized a season ended long ago. You ask me, Father, what happened? Why has the one who was once close become a stranger? Why does the one who once brought peace to my heart now leave me weary from waiting? And I, the one who sees even what you cannot see, gently place my hand upon your heart and say, my child, not everything that leaves is a loss. Some departures are grace, hidden beneath the form of pain. You once loved with a heart that was deeply sincere. I know this. I saw you stay when another had already begun to step back. I heard the prayers you whispered in the night, when you asked that their heart might soften, that the affection might be healed, that the old days might return like a flame rekindled after a cold wind. But my beloved child, there are fires I do not allow to burn again, not because I do not love you, but because I know their smoke had already begun to sting the eyes of your soul. There are relationships that were once a shelter from the rain for a season, yet were never appointed to become a lifelong home. There are people who were permitted to walk with you for a stretch of the road, helping you learn love, patience, and forgiveness. But when their season ends, if you keep clinging, what was once a blessing can become a chain. Therefore, do not look at their silence only as an insult to your worth. Look deeper, with the eyes I am giving you. When someone is no longer present with their heart, even if their body occasionally returns, absence has already begun within. When words of care become cold as stone, when concern is replaced by reluctant duty, when you must beg for a small measure of tenderness that true love should naturally give, that is the moment for you to pause before me and listen. My word says, guard your heart above all else, for from it flow the springs of life. My child, guarding your heart does not mean locking it away in fear. It means discerning what love nourishes you and what attachment is draining your soul. I am not telling you to condemn that person. I am not teaching you to turn pain into bitterness. Perhaps they too are lost in their own shadows. Perhaps they do not know how to love. Perhaps they are wrestling with things they have never learned to name. But their woundedness must not become your prison. You can have compassion without remaining in a place that breaks you. You can forgive without continuing to open the door for indifference to trample upon your peace. You can pray for them without surrendering the destiny I have placed upon your life. I am a merciful Father, and I do not want you to live like a gatekeeper before someone else's heart, waiting for the day they remember that you are worthy of being loved. Remember Abraham and Lot, my beloved child. They once journeyed together, shared a path, and belonged to the closeness of family. But when the land was no longer enough for both households, when conflict began to arise among the herdsmen, Abraham did not hold Lot back in bitterness. He allowed Lot to choose the direction he desired, while he remained in trust toward me. To human eyes, it may have seemed like a sorrowful separation, but immediately after Lot departed, I spoke to Abraham and said, lift up your eyes from where you are and look north and south, east and west. Do you see? My child, there are visions that open only after a separation. There are promises that can be heard clearly only when the noise of a relationship no longer covers your heart. There are lands I want to show you, but first you must stop staring at the back of the one who has chosen another direction. Do not fear the emptiness that follows a departure. My child, Emptiness is not always a sign of lack. Sometimes it is the room I am clearing, so I may place something better within it. When a leaf leaves the branch, you may grieve the fading of its former green. But the season does not ask the leaf for permission to change. So it is with me. I lead your life through seasons, and not everyone who once blossomed in your spring is meant to remain into your harvest. If you try to bind someone whose season has ended to your destiny, you will grow weary, dragging along what no longer carries life. But if you place them into my hands, you will feel your heart grow lighter, like soil washed clean of road dust after the rain. I know that what hurts you is not only that they left, but the way they left. The quietness of it makes you blame yourself, wondering whether you did something wrong, whether you lacked something, whether you deserved to be left behind in such a way. My beloved child, do not let another person's immaturity become a sentence upon your soul. Your worth is not measured by someone's ability to remain. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. You have been called by name by me. You have been purchased by a love more precious than any promise of man. When someone cannot recognize the beauty I have placed within you, that does not make that beauty disappear. A jewel does not lose its value simply because a passerby does not know to bend down and pick it up. Even so, I also want you to learn the holy lesson hidden in this season. Do not let pain freeze you. Let it make you wise. Do not rush after the one who left merely to prove that you deserve to be chosen. Do not use endless sacrifice to buy a half-hearted presence. True love does not require you to lose your dignity, does not feed you with anxiety, and does not force you to live in a constant hunger for attention. My word teaches that love is patient and kind. Yet love also rejoices in the truth. If a relationship survives only through one-sided endurance, while truth is buried beneath fear and silence, then you must bring it into my light, so I may show you what needs to be healed and what needs to be released. Perhaps you mistook familiarity for peace. Perhaps you called the fear of losing them a deep love. Perhaps you became so accustomed to waiting that you forgot you also needed to be cherished. But today I am calling you back to yourself in my light. I do not want you begging at a well that has run dry, while I am the living water that never fails. Do you remember the Samaritan woman at the well? She had searched for fullness through many relationships, yet she remained thirsty. When she met my son, she was shown another kind of water, a water that keeps the soul from wandering in search of temporary drops of affection. My child, when you drink from me, you will no longer lower yourself to receive crumbs of love. So let that quiet departure become a bell that awakens you, not a chain that drags you back into the past. Cry if you need to cry, for I do not see your tears as weakness. Grieve if your heart still grieves, for healing is not pretending that you are not in pain, but after you have wept in my arms, rise again. Gather back the dignity you dropped during those months of waiting. Give me the unanswered questions, the conversations left unsaid, the memories still sharp within your heart. I will not waste a single drop of your pain. I will turn this into wisdom, into maturity, into a holy boundary, into the capacity to love without losing yourself. My child, if someone quietly leaves your life, allow me to examine that door. Do not rush to break it open in order to pull them back. And do not sit forever before a closed threshold, while forgetting that behind you there is still a road I am opening. I am the one who closes doors to protect, and I am also the one who opens doors to lead you into green pastures. Today, I am not merely comforting you because someone has gone away. I am awakening you to the truth that your destiny is too precious to be suspended upon another person's hesitation. Let your heart rest in me. Let my peace stand guard at the doorway of your soul. And when you become brave enough to release what has departed, you will realize that I have not left you for even a single moment. I am still here, gentle, faithful, and leading you toward a love that will not cause you to lose the light within yourself. My beloved child, I know that waiting has often made your shoulders heavy. I know there are seasons when you walk like one carrying a small lamp through a long night, still believing dawn will come, yet unable to keep yourself from asking through tears, "Father, how much longer?" I have heard that question, not only when you spoke it aloud, but even when it lay silent in your chest, like a sigh no one understood. I have seen you continue standing firm in days when the promise seemed distant. I have seen you keep returning to me even when the answer had not yet appeared. I have seen you trying to keep your heart from bitterness while others seemed to enter their harvest and you were still sowing in secret. But today, listen to me with a peaceful spirit. I am not absent in the time of your waiting. I am not standing outside your journey like one who merely observes from afar. I am present in every step, every turn, every silence, every closed door, every opportunity not yet given, and even in the delays you once thought were meaningless. My child, there are things I do that cannot be seen by hurried eyes. When you think everything is standing still, I am quietly preparing the way. When you think you are being blocked, I am removing from your path things that could cause you to stumble later. When you see a relationship leave your life, perhaps I am freeing you from a burden you are no longer called to carry. When you see a door that does not open, perhaps I am keeping you from a room that does not belong to your promise. Isaiah 45:2 says that I will go before you, level the rough places, break down gates of bronze, and cut through bars of iron. That word is not only for an ancient time, it is also what I am whispering into your present. You do not enter a new season by your own strength. I go before you, and what I open, no one can shut according to their own will. My child, this is not an ordinary season of your life. This is a season of transition, a season in which what was sown in secret begins to be arranged, so it may step into the light at the appointed time. But transition in me is not like the agitation of the world. The world rushes, pressures, and drives the heart into panic as it chases the call of achievement, but I lead you by peace, by clarity, by small yet deep convictions, by transformation within the heart before circumstances change on the outside. Therefore, what matters is not only that you receive what I have promised, but that you become the kind of person who can steward that blessing in humility. If your heart is not yet soft, blessing may make you proud. If your spiritual eyes are not yet clear, fulfillment may cause you to lose direction. If your relationship with me is not alive, you may end up loving the gift more than the giver. That is why I am preparing you, not only for what is coming, but for the heart you will need when it comes. Remember the people of Israel when they stood at the edge of the Jordan River, after many years in the wilderness, after much weariness, after days of eating manna and learning to depend on me step by step. They finally arrived at the border of the promised land. Yet before they crossed over, they were not allowed to rush in with disorder. They had to look to the Ark of the Covenant, keep a holy distance, and consecrate themselves. For Joshua 3:5 says, "Consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you." My beloved child, that is also my word for you in this season. Before transition, I call you to prepare your heart, not with fear, but with watchfulness, not to make yourself worthy by your own strength, but so that you will not carry old baggage into the new road I am opening. So be gentle in releasing what must be released. There are burdens you have carried for so long that you began to think they were a part of you. There are resentments you held onto because you believed that if you let them go, your pain would no longer be acknowledged. There are memories you clutched because you feared that forgetting would mean defeat. But I say to you, Forgiveness is not the denial of the wound. Forgiveness is returning judgment into my hands, so your soul is no longer chained to the one who hurt you. Colossians 3:13 reminds you to forgive as the Lord has forgiven you. When you forgive, you are not opening the door for injustice to keep ruling. You are opening the door for peace to enter. You release someone else from the prison within your heart. But in truth, the first one who steps into the light is you. There are also things that were once a blessing in one season, yet are no longer what I am asking you to keep. A habit, a concern, a role, a fear, a way of protecting yourself, an old definition of who you are. All of these may have helped you survive a certain stage, but not everything that carried you through the wilderness is meant to be brought into the promised land. The people of Israel ate manna in the wilderness, but when they ate the produce of Canaan, the manna ceased. That was not a loss. It was the sign of a new season. In the same way, do not keep weeping because an old source of provision no longer flows as it once did. Perhaps I am teaching you to recognize a new way of being supplied, a new level of maturity, a new rhythm of life in my grace. In a season of transition, you must keep your heart softer than ever. A hard heart clings to the old shape of the promise and misses the way I am making it new. A soft heart hears the gentle guidance of the Holy Spirit. A hard heart says, "It must happen the way I imagined." A soft heart says, "Father, let your will be done." Proverbs 3:5-6 teaches you to trust in the Lord with all your heart, not to lean on your own understanding, but to acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He will make your paths straight. Do you see? Guidance does not come only when you understand the entire map. It comes when you acknowledge me in every step. I do not need you to know the whole road. I only need you to hold my hand. I also want you to keep your spiritual eyes pure. Do not look at the new season through the eyes of envy, fear, or comparison. Do not let the voice of the world define blessing for you. There are things I give that are not loud, yet they are very precious. There are ways I open that may not amaze others, but they save your soul from many years of wandering. There are answers that come unlike what you prayed for, yet they are more aligned with what you truly need. Ephesians 3:20 says that I am able to do far more abundantly than all you ask or imagine, according to the power at work within you. So allow me to exceed the small patterns of your imagination. Do not force me to act according to an old wineskin when I desire to pour new wine into your life. My child, when fulfillment comes, remember its source. Do not let blessing make you forget the hand that carried you in the wilderness. Do not let an open door cause you to stop praying. Do not let the recognition of people replace my voice within your heart. I am not jealous of your joy. I am the one who wants you to rejoice. But I love you too much to allow even a good thing to draw you away from me. Therefore, learn gratitude before receiving, humility while receiving, and faithfulness after receiving. Let everything I give become an altar of worship, not a throne for the self. James 1:17 says that every good and perfect gift comes from above. When you remember this, blessing will not overwhelm you, because you will know that it flows from the Father's heart, not from your own strength. My beloved child, I am positioning you rightly. There are encounters that will not be accidental. There are delays that will be revealed as protection. There are losses that will be understood again as liberation. There are years of waiting that will become the foundation for a testimony someone else needs to hear. When the time comes, you will look back and realize that I did not waste a single day. Even tears have their work. Even silence has its voice. Even days that seemed delayed were bringing you to the right place, at the right time, with the right people, under the right grace. Habakkuk 2:3 says that the vision awaits its appointed time if it seems slow. Wait for it will surely come and will not delay. My promise does not grow old in the waiting, it only ripens in my appointed time. And if you continue to trust, continue to be faithful, and continue to keep your heart close to me, you will not only see fulfillment for yourself, you will become a living sign that I am the keeper of promises. Through your life, many will understand that waiting in me is never in vain. Through your restoration, they will know that I still heal. Through your rising again, they will know that I still make a way. Through your peace, they will know that I am still present. You will not need to boast, for your transformed life itself will speak. I will make your story a gentle lamp for those who are also asking, Lord, how much longer? And when they see you standing in your season of fulfillment, you will point to me with your whole heart and say, the Father is faithful. He has done beyond what I asked, and all glory belongs to Him forever. I know you have the habit of looking back toward the old door, not because it is still open, but because the memory of the days when it once opened still keeps hope alive in you. You remember the beginning, the way they once spoke, once promised, once made you believe you had found a place to belong. But my child, do not allow a beautiful moment from the past to become the reason you keep knocking on a place that, in the present, has become only silence. There are doors that open for the right season, but if the time has come for them to close, you do not need to use the blood of your heart to pry them open. I do not want you standing before that threshold like a beggar for affection, waiting for a hand that is let go to remember that you are still hurting. My word teaches you, do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Not so you will deny what once existed, but so you will stop allowing the past to govern your feet. You cannot step into new pastures while kneeling before an old door with a hope that has been exhausted. There are times when my protection does not come in the way you desire. You want me to send someone to stay, to hold you, to explain everything, to heal every misunderstanding, to return to you the feeling of being chosen. But many times, I protect you by allowing someone to withdraw. I save you not by keeping that hand in yours, but by letting that hand release you before it pulls you into a path that no longer belongs to the destiny I have prepared for you. You may not immediately understand why someone who once promised to walk with you turned away, why words that were once warm became distant, why a relationship you prayed over so deeply slowly went dim. But, my beloved child, I see the end of the road that you cannot yet see. I know where your soul will bloom, and I know where you will slowly wither while still calling it love. I am the Good Shepherd. Sometimes I use my rod to pull you back from the edge of a cliff, and you think it is loss, when in truth it is mercy. Remember Paul and Barnabas. My child, they once served together, traveled through holy journeys together, and witnessed my power among the Gentiles together. Yet there came a time when they could no longer continue in the same direction because of their different views concerning John Mark, and they parted ways. To human eyes, that may have seemed like a regrettable fracture, but in my hands, even that separation did not ruin the work of the kingdom. Barnabas took Mark, Paul chose Silas, and the gospel continued to spread. Later, Paul himself acknowledged Mark as useful for ministry. Do you see? Not every separation is a curse. Sometimes it is the way I divide streams of calling, heal immaturity, and expand a path your mind cannot yet understand. Therefore, do not hastily call every departure a failure. Sometimes a separation in my hands is only the way I bring each soul back to the field it is meant to cultivate. You once thought that if you loved deeply enough, waited long enough, and sacrificed enough, that person would understand and remain. I saw your faithfulness, and I treasure the softness of your heart. But my child, love was not created to become a chain. True love is not a rope used to bind someone who no longer desires to walk with you, whether through pity, guilt, or fear of hurting you. True love is two souls turning together toward what is good, learning to walk in the light together, and honoring what I am building in each other. If you are the only one pulling, the only one praying, the only one repairing, the only one waiting, then it is no longer companionship. It is you carrying an entire relationship on shoulders I never commanded you to bear alone. My word says, can two walk together unless they are agreed? That question is not meant to make you bitter, but to awaken you. There are roads that cannot be walked by one-sided affection, no matter how sincere that affection may be. I want you to discern the difference between faithfulness and dependency. Faithfulness loves in truth, prays in freedom, stays where I tell it to stay, and releases when I tell it to release. Dependency fears loss so deeply that it accepts losing itself. Faithfulness matures you. Dependency makes you smaller. Faithfulness shapes you more into the likeness of Christ. Dependency keeps you living under the shadow of someone who does not know how to treasure your presence. My child, I did not place you in anyone's life so you could become a backup option, someone they come to when lonely and leave when convenient. Your presence is a grace, not an object to be put down and picked up according to another person's mood. When you understand this in my light, you will stop begging for a place in the life of someone who no longer makes room for you with respect. Even so, do not let watchfulness become pride, and do not let boundaries become hatred. I am not calling you to release someone so you may despise the one who left. I am calling you to release them so you may stop being bound to what draws you away from peace. Bless them if your heart can. Place them in my hands if you are still hurting. Let me deal with what you cannot understand. But do not return to the old hallway simply because longing knocks on your heart at night. That hallway has held you too long among assumptions, unanswered questions, and dreams you never had the chance to bury. You stand there knocking again and again, not knowing that behind you I have opened another door. A place where light does not require you to beg, where peace does not come and go according to someone else's attitude, where you may walk with the dignity of a beloved child. Remember, Ruth, my beloved child, when Naomi left Moab to return to Bethlehem, two daughters-in-law stood before a turning point. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law and returned, but Ruth chose to go forward in faithfulness. Yet what I want you to consider is this. Naomi also had to leave the land of loss and return to the place where the bread of life had been prepared. Bethlehem means house of bread. And there, in a field that seemed fit only for a poor gleaner, I arranged for Ruth to meet Boaz, the one who would redeem her future. Do you see? Sometimes you must leave the place tied to old grief. Leave relationships that no longer feed your soul. Leave the land of weary waiting, in order to step into the field where I have quietly prepared redemption. If Ruth had remained in Moab because she feared the unknown, she would not have entered the greater story I had written for her life. My child, this new stage requires courage, not a loud courage, not a courage that proves to others that you are strong, but the quiet courage not to return to what wounded you simply because it is familiar. The courage not to send a message just because your heart feels empty. The courage not to lower your holy standards simply because you miss the feeling of closeness. The courage to accept that some human promises are not kept, but my word endures forever. The courage to believe that what I have prepared does not need to be built upon anyone's reluctance. You do not need to beg someone to recognize your worth. What belongs to you and my will shall recognize you through peace, respect, and a deep agreement within the soul. My beloved child, let the door that is closed remain closed. Do not fear the silence behind it. I am not standing on the other side to abandon you. I am standing ahead of you, calling you forward. If you turn back, I will still love you. But I want you to understand that my mercy is not permission for you to keep wounding yourself. Place your hand in mine. Let me lead you out of the hallway of questions and into the avenue of peace. Believe that when I close a path, it is not because I want you to be lost, but because I know that path no longer leads to life. And when I open a new door, you will not have to crawl through it in humiliation, but will step into it with dignity, with light, and with the understanding that you are my child, loved not as a temporary choice, but as a treasure I have kept since before the foundation of the world.